Okay, so welcome to today's webinar called Give Healing a Hand. So the idea is how can we extend a hand to healing itself, and what mysteries and secrets lie in the palms of our hands. So we're going to explore how we can open up the world of healing just within our fingertips and within our palms. So that is what the art of acupressure or reflexology is all about. And today's webinar is focused, for the first time we're doing this webinar. Actually, for the past 3 months, we've been doing weekly free webinars on different topics. We did immunity and anxiety, how to support mental health and how to get a stress-free life and different topics. But first time we're doing on sleep. So, because I think it's a really important topic, so I thought it would be good to explore it. So today, all the points that we do will be in relevance to sleep, how to get a good and sound sleep. So what all are we going to do today? I'll just briefly go over the structure of today's webinar. I'll try my best to wind up exactly in 1 hour and leave at least 5 to 10 minutes for questions towards the end. So we're going to start with an introduction on what is acupressure and what is reflexology. So as I can see, many of you here are attending for the first time. So I will spend a little bit more time on this, which is just to understand what this modality is, how it works and how it benefits us. And particularly, what are the benefits in terms of sleep? What are the ways in which the body functions when it is trying to balance a good restful sleep in the night, and what happens when this rest is not possible. Okay, and then we have selected reflexology point locations and organ physiology. So this is selected points, meaning there are many points. So acupressure has a huge wide range of points, out of which today we will be discussing selected points with their respective organs, only in relevance to supporting a healthy sleep pattern. So that is the idea for today. And in the end, we'll go through a little bit on a practice protocol. So how you can inculcate this practice into your everyday life. So a few tips on your practice protocol, what you can follow to integrate reflexology into your daily practice. Okay, so we begin with what is acupressure. So acupressure is the simple art of healing that brings balance and harmony to the organ system via the pranic network. So this is a very long sentence and definition. So we're going to break it down and just understand it in parts. So acupressure is first of all an art of healing through balance. So every organ system has a particular way of functioning. Either it will filter your blood, or maybe it is pumping blood and nutrition to your whole body, or maybe it is draining the toxins out of the body. Maybe it is a cerebral function which is passing messages throughout your body. So every function that happens in the body has a particular pace and purpose. Not just a function, but also a pace of function, which means the rate at which it's working. See, sometimes we feel like in the course of the day, we feel hungry very often. Even if we're eating the same thing which we ate yesterday, there's a difference in the digestion, there's a difference in the metabolism. So that means the rate at which that same function of digestion or metabolism is somehow different for some days instead of other days. And other times we notice the difference between people. Some people sharp 12 noon, they start rumbling, right? They start rumbling and grumbling. And some people, it's okay, they miss 1 meal, 2 meals, it doesn't bother them much. So this difference in metabolism, digestion, moods, so many differences within a person and between people as well. This shows the different ways in which, the different paces at which the body has different functions. And bringing balance to these functions simply means that empowering that particular organ system to work in a equilibrium way. So to make it work in a harmonious way for the body to integrate all the functions of the whole. So that's what we are aiming at supporting through acupressure. How can we support the way the organ functioning is happening and bring a equilibrium to it. So how much ever the body needs and how much ever we need to feel energized and healthy throughout the day, how can we make that happen for our internal network? So how do we bring this balance and harmony in the organ systems? We bring it via the pranic network. Now the word prana, I'm sure, is very common to all of you here. I don't think any of you are hearing it for the first time. In case you are hearing the word prana for the first time, usually the English translation of prana is energy. But it's much, much more than energy. It's not just energy. It is like a vital life force energy. So it is an energy which is constantly striving towards vitality, towards expressing life. So it's a very, you can get the texture of something bubbling, something waiting to blossom, to express, and it's always striving towards life, towards a optimal and full blossoming of life. That is your prana. So there is a pranic network in the system. See, everything works in networks and systems, right? For example, blood is produced. It's not kept in one place. It is circulated everywhere. Oxygen we are taking in, it is circulated everywhere. Food we eat, that goes to every part of the body. Nothing remains isolated, right? The whole body is all about integration. It's like a huge family that shares with each other. So everything that goes in, it has a network so that it can share it with the whole body. So every single organ network in our body, whatever it may be, it could be nerves, it could be lymph, it could be blood, it could be digestive system. Any system has an entire network so that it can reach out and carry its function from one place to the other. So same way, while these physiological networks are taking place in the body, there is an underlying pranic network. You can think of it as the supply chain, like the underlying supply system. So when we look at the light, we switch a switch on and the tube light comes on, right? That's all we can see. We can see the physical electricity coming into the light and the light is turning on. But underneath this function, we know that there is a supply, right? There is a circuit. There's a circuitry going on, a circuitry of electricity, of energy, which is carrying this function out and enabling the light to turn on. So in the same way, for your heart to function, for your liver to function, for all these organs to function, they have an underlying network of energy which we cannot see. But definitely we can feel it. Because you know how you feel some days when you wake up and you don't get your morning cup of chai or your morning cup of coffee or whatever you usually do in the morning. Maybe you're used to a good meditation in the morning or a yoga practice or a jog, whatever you do in the morning. Imagine that 1 or 2 days you don't get that morning booster, whether it is your cup of chai or whatever it is that you use to boost yourself in the morning. Now, if you miss that out, how you feel? You feel so groggy, you feel so like as if, oh, the day has still not begun, or you don't want to start the day. So that feeling of being low, dragging yourself through the day, that can be experienced by every organ. And that is simply how you can understand when an organ system has a low supply of prana or an imbalanced supply of prana. So the idea is to empower all the networks, to open up all the roads, so that we are fully vitalized. That is the feeling of vitality, when the whole body is flushed with this pranic energy, so that every organ is able to really follow all 3 cycles. What are the 3 cycles? It's creating, so it's creating energy, creating nutrition, or whatever the function is. It is creating something, then it is circulating and maintaining its function, and it is eliminating the byproduct or the toxin. So these 3 qualities or these 3 cycles when they happen optimally in every organ, then that organ system is balanced and happy, is harmonious. So the aim is we are going through the pranic network, because we believe that if we can balance this pranic supply, if we can balance this pranic network, then we are automatically able to bring balance to the organ system itself. So our entry point is via the pranic channel. So how do we do that? What is our mode of treatment? We're using systematic application of pressure, just through applying pressure on the point. So systematic application of pressure on specific special points, these special vitality points or pranic points. they help us to restore optimum energy flow to the affected organs. So we're putting pressure on a particular point, and then that pathway of energy is becoming balanced. So these points are representative of organs. So that's why it's called reflexology, because the entire body is reflected on the hand. So it's like a map. You have a world map, right? So when you look at Africa, you're not really going to Africa. You're just looking at a representation of Africa. Same way, we are looking at a representation of liver, kidney, everything. It's all reflected on the hand. And through that reflection, we're able to tap into the actual organ function. And it's so beautiful because, see, there are different ways, right, that we can look at a map. You can look at an atlas, or you can look at a globe, or now everybody's looking at Google Maps. So these are three different mapping systems of the same world, of the same earth. Like that only, the same body has different mapping systems. So one of the most basic and most fundamental mapping system is reflexology, because it has the entire complete set of organ points just on the palm of the hand or the sole of the foot or the hand. Both reflect all the points. Like that, there are other systems also. So there is meridianology, there is auricle therapy, there is sujok therapy. So there are different branches of acupressure. Reflexology is the basic and most fundamental, easiest and safest branch. That's why we can share it so openly. So that is the difference between acupressure and reflexology. Acupressure is a larger branch, and under acupressure comes reflexology. It is one of the modalities of acupressure. Okay, so these points are reflected in the palm of the hand, and they represent the organs within the body. And they also reflect the condition of the organ. So it's not just the therapeutic value, which is adjusting and rebalancing the energy. It is also a diagnostic value, in the sense that we are able to read, or we are able to receive information of how that organ is doing. So when there is a certain sensation of soreness, of pain in the local point, it represents that that respective organ may not be functioning too well. It may not be functioning in a balanced way. It needs your help. It needs your support. So it's a dual therapy. It's a dual function. It's got a therapeutic value and a diagnostic potential as well. So today we'll tune into both of these. As we apply the points, we'll also take a feedback to see how is this point doing. That represents the organ. So let us also sensitize to see whether this point is sore, whether it's tense, whether it's hard. So actually there is an entire science of trying to understand the feedback system of how this point is actually doing, how the point is functioning. So it represents the condition of the organ. Okay. So tenderness of the points may indicate an imbalance or dysfunction of that particular organ. Yeah, and as I mentioned, reflexology is the fundamental branch of acupressure. It is the simplest and most effective of all. And it includes 39 points. But don't worry, we're not going to do 39 points today. It's too much to take in one day. So today we'll do around 10 to 12 points. Out of this 39, we have selected 10 to 12 points which are relevant for you. So as I mentioned here, see, the entire organ system is reflected. It's like a map. So they can also be understood as entry and exit points of prana, where the energy is entering the body and exiting the body. So that's why it becomes like a circuit. So it's like we're opening the door, or we're ringing the doorbell, so that the pathway is brought awareness to. Because there might be some jam in the pathway. That's why the energy is not able to enter or exit freely. So when we apply pressure, it is serving the purpose of physically unblocking, but also bringing awareness to that channel, so that that channel may be open and free. So systematic pressure stimulation, reflexology, corrects the imbalance in pranic supply to the affected organs, re-establishing equilibrium in the points. So our goal is equilibrium. That is our goal. Our goal is to bring equilibrium to the body, bring equilibrium to the system. Okay, so the point selection for today. The following points which we will be doing, they have been very lovingly selected, especially for you guys. One is to relieve anxiety, because that is one of the main reasons that disturbs our sleep. When we have repetitive thoughts, or when we have some worries or concerns, fears, any fears or phobia, anything which the mind is not able to unloop itself from. So that repetitively there is a loop in the mind. So we are not able to rest. The mind cannot let go, and the body cannot rest. This is one. Another can be a nervous system imbalance. If the body is not balanced between a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So that balance between both the systems, both the nervous systems, that could also cause an inability to sleep. So based on these common reasons of disturbance of our sleep, we have chosen these points. Each point is to be pressed with firm, even pressure. That means we are not going to do circulatory, neither are we going to do pulsating. We are going to do steady pressure. So we press and hold. That is the modality. That is the mode of application. So best is to use your thumb. Today we will all use only our thumbs. That is how we will apply the pressure. But it's great you can also use an instrument. If you have a safe wooden instrument and you know how to use it, you may also use that. But best is to use your thumb so that you can you can feel the point, palpate and feel it while you apply it. So you can practice this twice a day, every day, to experience its benefits. So minimum 2 weeks to really experience a shift in your health. Okay, before we start the points, I would like to open just 5 minutes for any questions. Does anybody have any questions about what we did so far? Okay, there is about 35 of us. Seema has raised her hand. You have a question, Seema. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type it in the chat. Anything about the way acupressure works, the way reflexology works, something about the foundation. If you have any doubts regarding this, then you can ask it now. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, nothing. If it's clear, then we'll carry on. Okay, for this part, I would request you guys to turn on your cameras so that I can see where you're pressing. So it's easy for me to understand, where you're pressing, and I can give you a feedback in case it's not in the right location or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I saw your question, Bess, about the booklet. So there's no booklet, but if you wish, so this image which I'm showing it, I can share this image with you. If you leave your email ID, you can leave it in the chat, your email address, and I can send by email this particular image for you so that you can practice at home as well. Okay, so there's a question about tennis elbow. Okay, so as I said, there are 39 points. So there are different points for different things, right? We can't do all the points on one day. So today we're going to focus on the points to enhance sleep, to get better rest. Okay, so let's begin. We begin with point number 1, which is cerebrum. So you first choose one hand, which will be your receiving hand for today. It can be either right or left, doesn't matter. Choose one hand to be your receiving hand. So I'm choosing my left hand. Okay, this is going to be my receiving hand right now. And I'm using my right hand to apply pressure. So how do we do that? Point number 1 is cerebrum, which is the largest part of the brain. It's just below the tip of the thumb. So let me, it's better if I show it on my screen first. Okay. So just below the tip of the thumb, this is the location. How do I apply pressure? So thumbs up on the receiving thumb. Wrap your opposite hand fingers around the receiving thumb and use the thumb to put pressure on the tip, just below the tip. So you put firm pressure. And you can close your eyes for 15 seconds, just 15 seconds. And just keep your awareness with the body, with the breath. And relax. So that was point 1, cerebrum. So cerebral function, the problem is overfunction. Usually we're concerned with underfunction, no? That some organ is functioning very less or it's not doing its job as much as it should. But in this case, with our cerebrum, it's always overfunctional because it's the main part of the brain. So many messages are going through all the time. So because it is in charge of our logical thinking, our reasoning, all the things we associate to cerebral function, that is point number 1, cerebral. So we're using point 1 to bring calm down, to just balance the cerebral function. So if the cerebral circulation is good, then we can get a better sleep because the cranium is not compressed, but it is relaxed and it is able to invite space into it instead of being compressed. The feeling of being compressed, tightness in the forehead, that makes us feel very stressed, right? So to bring in the element of space and to relax the forehead and the cranium, we give point number 1, cerebrum. This is also good to balance intelligence, memory, all the cerebral functionings also get enhanced when the pranic flow is balanced in cerebrum. Okay, the second point we're going to do is point number 4, which is pineal. So the location of pineal is very interesting. It is unique to each person. So look at your thumb, you will see a spiral. You see a spiral. Center of the spiral is point number 4. Center of the spiral. So it's unique for each person. When do we do this? Precaution and duration. So duration is always 15 seconds. Yeah, we always apply for 15 seconds. No precautions. No precautions at all. In the end, I will tell a little bit about timing. Okay, so this is the center of my spiral. See, yours may also look like this, okay? It may not be centrally aligned for everybody. The alignment may be different. It is usually more or less centrally aligned. The spiral, center of the spiral. So once again, wrap the fingers around the receiving thumb and then apply pressure exactly on that point. It will be fleshy, and if your pressure is accurate, if it is strong enough, you will feel a slight pain, a slight soreness. And note that I'm using only this part of my thumb to apply pressure. See, only this much. Okay. So this is the contact. So we can close our eyes for 15 seconds and relax the receiving palm. Whichever palm is receiving, relax that palm and apply pressure with the opposite palm. And relax. So that was point 4, pineal. So our pineal gland is extremely important for optimal rest because it secretes something called melatonin, which is actually regenerating our cells. So it is repairing our cells at a cellular level, it is repairing. So see, every time when we sleep, it's like charging our phone battery, right? We use our phone the whole day and then it becomes 50%, 30%, whatever. And then we put it on charge and we wake up and after maybe an hour, 2 hours, it becomes 100%. Now, ideally, when we sleep, it's like recharging our battery, right? But do you ever wake up feeling like a 100% charged phone? Do you ever feel, okay, I have had, ideal, perfect amount of rest, I am 100% charged? Hardly we feel like that, no? Usually we feel 20%, 30%. If we're lucky, we feel 50, 60%. We have never even experienced that 100% charged, no? What it means to be 100% charged. That's because the quality of our rest is lacking. So when the pineal gland is active, when it is soft, see, glands are supposed to be nice and soft, juicy, because they're like sponges. They're secreting some hormone, some fluid. So they need to be in touch with their fluid nature. If they harden, if they become calcified and hard, then it's difficult for them to release the secretion that they're supposed to. So pineal gland, when it is soft, happy, fluid, then it is able to release the melatonin, and it does that regenerative function, especially when there is no light. That means when it's night time, when it's time to rest. So that's why we need not just any kind of sleep. We need night sleep. Sleep at the right time, which is in the night when it is dark, because that is how the body is designed. The body also has an organ clock. And the organ clock is designed that in the night time, when there is no sunlight entering the eyes, because it's so intelligent, this melatonin function, the input of the trigger, like whether it should secrete or not, is coming through the eyes. So when the light enters the eyes, it will not do its function. It will say, no, it's not time yet. Only when eyes are closed, there is no more light entering, then the pineal gland starts secreting. So everything is timed so well. It is just waiting for us to synchronize with our inner rhythms. So pineal gland is very, very important for this, to bring balance to our sleep patterns. It's also especially important for jet lag, because it synchronizes you according to the time zone, to your local time, and it helps you sleep on time. It helps the body to synchronize with day and night. So it's very useful also for those of you who may be traveling a lot into different time zones. So that was number 4, this one, the pineal gland. Okay, next we have point number 5 here, the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, or the brain stem, is very important for any stress related condition. It really helps to relieve. Now, where is this point? I'm going to go back to my left hand. Observe the 2 joints. So we have 2 joints in the thumb, right? This is the first joint. I'm bending the first joint, and this is the second joint. So we all have this first joint and second joint. These are the 2 lines. Imagine 2 lines like this, okay? It's exactly in the middle of both the joints. So point number 5, exactly in the center of both the joints. How do I access it? You can do thumbs down, wrap your fingers around your thumb again, and apply pressure here. Once again, relax this hand, relax the receiving hand. If you're not able to apply enough pressure, you're feeling that you're not able to press hard enough, you can reduce the level of your hand. So you bring it below your shoulder level so that you can use the shoulder to apply pressure. And you're not applying pressure from the wrist. You're applying pressure, you're using your body weight in your favor, and you're applying pressure from the shoulder. That will really help you. I'm just showing it now like this so that it's clear on the camera, but you can bring it almost down to your hip level. You can bring your hand down to the hip level and apply full pressure like that. Relax. So this was medulla oblongata. This is also our reflex center. So all the automated systems in the body, autonomic nervous system especially, your heart rate, your breathing, which is on its own happening, on its own being regulated. Even your reflexes like blinking, sneezing, hiccups, all these reflexes are also controlled by your medulla oblongata. Let's go back to the chart. Okay, next we have point number 7, which is neck. So it may seem a little irrelevant here that how come we have a neck point for sleep? How does it affect? Why is it relevant? So neck actually is a very important highway. It's the national highway. between the head and the body. So it's the main highway. A lot of things are going up and down through the neck. And when the body perceives stress, when the body perceives threat, no, immediately, like a turtle, what does a turtle do when it sees an enemy or it feels stressed out? Immediately it goes inside its shell, right? So we were also once turtles. So we still have that tendency in us. We still have that quality of shrinking within us. So the neck immediately gets jammed when it perceives threat. It locks up. The shoulders close in, the neck gets locked up. That's why in all our relaxation techniques, we're always lengthening the neck. In any yoga techniques, pre-meditation techniques, always we stress on the importance of lengthening the neck. Why? When this distance between ear and shoulder increases, it is opening the highway. Otherwise, traffic jam. Full traffic jam. And when there's traffic jam, then this entire system is locked. So immediately the body is compressed, the spine is compressed, the fluidity becomes rigidity. So everything changes. So the neck is very important to induce a relaxed state. So before we do the neck point, let's do some neck rotation. This is out of syllabus, but it's still very, very good. Especially before you sleep, you can do this. Very simple. You can just sit with your shoulders relaxed and spine erect. And bring your chin to the chest. And while we do this, we're going to keep awareness at the back here, where the occiput or the cranium is meeting the neck. We're going to keep our awareness here on that bridge. So bring your chin to the chest. And slowly breathing in, start to rotate, roll the head to the right. And then roll the head to the back, to the left, and back again, chin to the chest. So you can do this on your own. You can do maybe 4 rounds with the breath. As you breathe in to the right and as you breathe out to the left. So take your own time and really pay attention to every angle of the movement. Opposite direction, you can do 4 times also in the opposite direction, breathing in to the left. And as you finish, you can sit with your eyes closed and just observe the length of the neck.
Your video.
You can observe the length of the neck. Become aware of the collarbones. Just relax those collarbones, the shoulder blades. All the horizontal bones in this area, in the shoulders, the collarbones, just relax these surfaces, these horizontal planes. And then take your attention to the neck. And just relax the neck, the jaw, and all the muscles of the face. Nice deep breath in. And let go. You can slowly open your eyes. Point number 7, neck. is on the second bone. So you had the second bone, which we use to find point number 5, which is in between the first and the second joint. So we're going to press exactly on the bone. So you first take your index finger. First you take your index finger and just press this bone and feel the shape of the bone. So feel the contour of the bone. If there are any protrusions, the shape of the joint, how does it feel? Can you all feel a small dent? Yes? Can you feel just here, just in the front here? You should feel a small, like a notch. There are 2 notches and there's a small dent. Can you all feel that? The dent? Yes. So we're going to press on that dent. Exactly on the dent. Again, firm pressure. This will feel slightly sore. All of us carry a lot of stress on the neck. So you should be able to feel it. You should feel that, okay, some point is there. So it comes here. For me, it is here. It is exactly on the bone, a small dent on the bone. So apply firm pressure. And relax. So this was point 7, neck. Anyone who was not able to feel anything, not able to find the bone, not able to feel the dent, if anything like that, then you can type in the chat or you can unmute. Okay. So we did point 1, cerebrum, just below the tip. Point 4, pineal, center of the spiral, center of the circular spiral. Point 5, in between the first and second joints. Point 7, on the second joint, on the small dent, like a notch. It's like a notch in between 2 bony protrusions. That is point 7, neck. Now we're coming to 8, thyroid. Once again, thyroid may seem like a strange point to include in this sequence, but thyroid is very, very relevant to our ability to rest and to navigate between activity and rest. That is the biggest problem. When we have to perform, when we need to act, then we feel drowsy, we feel no energy. And when we have to rest, when we need to sleep, then the mind is overactive. We're so restless and we're not able to rest. That is a quality of the nervous system, not being able to balance between sympathetic, which is action oriented, and parasympathetic, which is relaxation oriented. So thyroid has a very deep effect on this quality of whether we are on the edge of our seat or whether we are calm, composed, relaxed. It's a gland and it releases a hormone, but this hormone is very pervasive. It affects a lot of things in the body. The rate of growth, maturation, the way that your mind perceives things, the quality of being restless or the quality of being restful, your digestion, metabolism. Number 1 gland for metabolism. It really plays a big role in metabolism. So that's why it's a very good gland for overall, to balance a lot of things in the body, which eventually add up to the quality of your sleep. Okay, Roshni is not able to see. You are able to see my video, right? It's clear with it? Okay, fine. Great. So everyone is able to see. I think maybe yours is turned off. So where is point number 8? We go back to our landmark of the second bone, which was point number 7, neck. So this is the one bone and the wrist bone. So we are going to take these 2 as the landmarks this time, and exactly in the middle of both. So in the middle of the second joint of the thumb and the wrist, where the wrist bends. In between both of this is point number 8. So it comes on the fleshy, bulgy part of the thumb. fleshy and bulgy area. So you put your opposite thumb, you can rotate a little bit. Put pressure and rotate. You will feel one point more sore, like more painful than others. Find that point which is more painful and then relax the hand and press and hold. So you stay stationary. You rotate to find the point. Once you find it, then press and hold. And relax. Okay. Anyone who was not able to feel anything, no pain, no sensitivity? You could feel something like some soreness, some pain, yes? If not, then please let me know. Okay. Yes, okay, great. So this was point 8, thyroid. Now we're jumping to point 15, which is the heart meridian, and it directly impacts the rate of our heart. Okay, so Ganti says pain is more. Yes, it is a very painful point actually. So be careful when you're giving to others. So if you're pressing it for your husband or your wife, don't ekdam se dawa dena, don't press it too hard at once. Take your time, press it first gently and slowly increase pressure as the tissue resists. You can feel the resistance of the tissue, right? So very slowly sink the palm in. So don't press it too hard because it's a very sensitive point. Okay, now point 15, which is here. So remember it is on the little finger side. It's just below the wrist crease, below the wrist fold, here on the little finger line, in line with the little finger. So let's do it on our palms. So this is my wrist. This is where the wrist bends. So I'm on the front surface. I'm not on the side. This is the side surface. This is the front surface. So I'm on the front surface, just below the wrist crease. So where I'm below where the wrist folds. So I'm not in line with that. I'm below that, in the corner. So once again, apply pressure. You can close your eyes for 15 seconds. And relax. Okay, so point 15 is very, very good for anxiety, excessive thoughts, nightmares, fears, like really deep fears and phobias, which especially trouble, in the night, just when you want to sleep, or early hours in the morning, you wake up with these repetitive thoughts and fears. So this point is very effective for that. Having said that, this point also immediately brings the heart rate down, because when we get fearful or when we get anxious, it's like a panic attack, immediately the heart rate starts building. So you hear that thumping. So it really helps to bring the heart rate down immediately. So it's a very good point. But for those who already have low BP, very low heart rate, you can avoid this point. So it won't damage, like it cannot harm you, but in case you already have extremely low BP, very, history of very, very low BP, then you can avoid this point out of all this entire sequence. Just avoid point number 15. Also, even though point 15 individually has these benefits of relieving anxiety, fears, phobias, and all that, most effective is when you practice it as a sequence, this entire set of points. Then you really can feel the value of a reflexology practice when you do it all together. A single point rarely has that holistic impact that the entire sequence of set will have. Okay, next we have point number 23. So point 23 is unique to the right hand. This is the only point in our sequence which is for right hand only. So let's move over to our right hand if you were on the left till now. And as you saw in the image, it is right below the little finger. There is a knuckle, right? See this knuckle? So there is a little finger knuckle. It's a circular sort of knuckle. So it's below that knuckle. Just below that knuckle. So you're not touching that bone. You're below that bone, below that knuckle bone. And relax the hand when you're applying pressure. This also should be a painful point because all our livers are exhausted and ready to give up because they're doing the heavy duty work. Yep. So it's not on the extreme edge. It's a little bit inside. So you can say, this gap between ring finger and little finger, it's just a little bit, a little bit towards the little finger. So it's just a little bit in between this gap and between the finger there. It's not on the outer edge, neither is it completely inside. It's just there in the middle. So how do you know you're on the right point? Rotate. Press and rotate. One point will feel sore. It will feel more painful than the surrounding area. And hold on that. It's more comfortable if you face your palm towards you like this. You face the palm towards you and you apply pressure. Just to show you, I'm doing it like this. And relax. Okay, for high BP, can we do 15? Absolutely. You can do point number 15 for high BP. It will help for high BP also. So that was 23, liver. Liver detoxes in the night, So when the liver is happy, if the liver is able to detox all the toxins from the body, then the vitality is automatically higher. And if the liver is resting, getting good rest, well, then your quality of sleep is also better. But it is complementary. So you need to sleep on time for the liver to be happy. And the liver needs to be happy for you to have good sleep. So both are hand in hand. So that was 23. Now we have 26, kidney. This is a very unique point to find. You can use either left or right. It's on both hands. So where your middle finger meets your palm, when you make a loose fist. So what does a loose fist mean? It means like, for example, let's say you're putting your finger here and wrapping your fingers around. Okay, this is a loose fist. So it's not tight, it's a loose fist, where the middle finger meets the palm. So my middle finger is meeting here. So this is my point 26. So apply pressure with the thumb. 15 seconds. And relax. So that was point 26, kidney. Now we go to 28, adrenal. So this is the point here, which is in between the index and the middle finger. This is adrenal. So we're going to do this point now. Adrenal gland is super important for the same thing I mentioned about the nervous system, right? Sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So adrenal gland is like a fight or flight response. You've heard of fight or flight response? Like if you perceive a threat or if you perceive some danger, immediately the body is ready to face the danger. So either you get pumped up to fight. So, you have your body's prepared to mobilize you to fight the enemy, to fight the threat, or you go into flight mode, which is to run away, which is also you need energy in your limbs, you need a heart rate to be pumping, that same quality of mobility, of being pumped up for action. So if the body perceives threat and it goes into this alarm state, the stress response, the siren starts ringing, ding, 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 ding. So the body is ready to fight, but you're not able to actually fight. So for example, you see your boss, you get stressed out, the body goes into, fight or flight mode, but neither can you punch your boss, neither can you run away from your boss. So all that pumped up energy stays inside the body. So that is when the stress response, that's when you experience stress within the body. So adrenal gland releases this adrenaline. You get an adrenaline rush, no? So it needs to be balanced so that it doesn't simply secrete adrenal gland when you don't need to be mobilized. You don't, when you want to be in a rest mode, so you can either be in fight or flight or you can be in rest and digest. You can't be both together. So for you to initiate that resting mode, it's good if your adrenal gland is balanced. It will give you a better state of rest and better state of sleep. So how do you find the point? Remember, it brings peace to your body. So it's in between these two fingers, your index finger and your middle finger. So you can put the thumb on the gap on this web between index and middle and just drag the finger down in between these knuckles. Just drag it down and apply pressure in between both these knuckles. So you feel a V shape. You should feel a V shape in between the fingers. Just where the V closes, that is the point. So it comes here. Once again, you can turn the palm towards yourself. It's easier to press like this. Just to show you, I'm pressing like this. And really apply firm pressure. Relax the fingers, relax the palm. 15 seconds. And relax. This was point 28. Okay, so now we've reached the last point, which is 39, paranasal sinus. And as you can see in this picture, there are 5 point number 39s on the tip of every finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the tip of every finger has a point number 39. So you have 10. Actually, you have 10 point number 39. This is, so if everything we discussed today went over your head, you didn't understand anything, it was very boring, you didn't where the points are, if you understood nothing, just understand this one point. Because this one point is the magic point that has such a deep and profound effect. So even if you don't remember anything else, just remember this one point. Take back this one point from today. Because its effect is so good, especially on sleep. It really, if you practice it twice a day for 1 week also, you will observe a shift in your sleep. Because we are all adults here, I think from what I can see, it is all adults. There are no teenagers or children. Because I also teach these points for children. Even children can apply these points. It's safe for them. I usually tell them to do with the hand. But you can use a tool. So either an instrument or a blunt pencil. I don't think I have my pencil here. No, this one. So you can use a blunt pencil or any instrument with this width. So it's quite small and sharp, but it's not pointed. It's not pointed like a sharp pencil. It's like a blunt tip of a pencil or a pen, like a thicker pen nib. So how do we apply this point? You can do it with your hand also if you want. Wrap the fingers round. Let's start with the thumb. Wrap the fingers round and apply pressure from top to down. So just below the nail, just near the nail, from up to down, we're applying pressure like this. You can go to the second finger, index finger, wrap the fingers around the index finger and press from the top. So I'm going to press with this tool. 15 seconds on each finger. Yeah, so I want you to see the dent that is formed by the pressure. Can you see? On every finger, the dent. So that's how hard I'm pressing. And that is the position, which is just on the tip in front of the nail. This is the position of the point. So 15 seconds each. Why is 39 a magic point? Okay, good question. So point 39, which is tips of all the fingers, it immediately relieves cranial pressure. So it could be your facial nerves which are pressed. So that's when you feel tightness in this part of your face. It could be your cranium, where the cranium meets the neck. It could be your cervical or your cranial nerves which exit, all the nerves which exit the brain. It could be the cranial pressure itself. When the brain is feeling very hard, compressed, it immediately relieves it. So it's as if inflating a balloon. So if it was completely congested in your head, it immediately relieves it. So your eyebrows, forehead, eyes, eye nerves, tooth pain, any pain in the tooth, the jaw, anything related to your face and head immediately gets balanced by point number 39. And you do 15 seconds each finger, and you can do it every 2 hours. If you have migraine attack, headache, severe insomnia, you can do it every 2 hours. Only this point, okay? The other points need not be practiced more than twice a day. Maximum morning, evening, or afternoon, night, that's it. No need of more than that. Only this point, point number 39, when you have severe pain in the head, compression, you're feeling very confused, very anxious, very restless, anything to do with symptoms related to the brain function, head, face, you can use point number 39. It's also used to treat children with special needs, children with autism, children with mental retardation, anything to do with brain development. Also, this point works very well. It's okay. For some people, it's hurting a lot. Yes, it's very natural. It just means that there is a lot of pressure in your cranium. After 2-3 times that you apply pressure, automatically the pain reduces. This applies for all points. If any point is painful, don't worry. The pain will reduce as you practice the points every day. One last thing, when you're applying pressure, just make sure you don't do this. Okay? So we are not going to apply like this, because what can happen, it can slip into the nail. Yeah? So always hold it close to the tip and use the other fingers. Put the fingers together like this. Don't put one finger open. Yeah? Put the fingers together and press like this. So you're in touch with the receiving hand and you're closer to the tip. So you have more control. So you don't slip into the nail. Okay, pressure is applied on the opposite side also. So I'm guessing you mean, like for example, when you're pressing 28, you're applying pressure here as well. The idea is not to apply pressure here. So you use your hand to support the opposite side, and you're only applying pressure in the front surface. We're only applying pressure in the front surface. Okay, so before I take any more questions, I'll just one last time show the points together. So we had point number 1, cerebrum, just below the tip of the thumb. Then point 4, pineal gland in the center of the spiral. So the unique thumbprint which we all have, center of the spiral, point 4. Point number 5, in between the first and second thumb joints. Point 7, on the second thumb joint, on the small dent, on the notch. Point 8, thyroid, on the fleshy part of the thumb, in between the second thumb joint and the wrist, in the middle of both these points. Point 15, little finger side, on the edge, just below the wrist crease. Point 23, only on the right hand, below the little finger. Below the little finger. Point 26, where the middle finger meets the palm. Where the middle finger meets the palm when you make a loose fist. So if you're making a loose fist, where the middle finger meets the palm. 28, in between index and middle finger in this gap. You slide the finger down just in between the gap in the V-shaped. 28. And then 39. Tips of all the fingers is 39. Okay, so as I said, you can leave your email ID if you would like to receive that chart, the chart which I showed. It's good if you have it as a reference. So you can leave your email IDs and I can send it to you by email. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you all. I will stay back for another 10-15 minutes to take questions. So in case you have any questions, feel free to stay back. To those of you who need to move on, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that it was beneficial. Please do practice these points every day, twice a day, at least for 2 weeks to observe a shift in your sleep patterns. I tell you, it's much faster than that, okay? Most of us, there are many reflexologists attending here who have studied the 4-day in-depth training and they're repeating and they're visiting for this webinar. So I'm sure they would love to tell you that especially point 39 and these sleep points, it works within a day. Within a day, 2 days, you really feel the difference. As you're giving the point itself, you feel so relaxed. So just take some time to, drink a glass of water, sit down with eyes closed and do each point. That would be most effective. If you can't and you're doing it, maybe while you're in the bus, you're in the metro or something, it still works 100%. But it works much better if you're sitting with yourself and giving yourself some time. So, by the way, my name is Sriya. For those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Sriya, and I'm tuning in from Torino, Italy. I'm based here right now, but I usually take these workshops live in Dubai as well as in Bangalore and to different cities, whichever cities that I'm traveling in. For those of you who are interested to really go deeper to learn all 39 points and become a practicing reflexologist, to really know how all the points work on the palm and the foot, I do online trainings now. I began after this lockdown to do online trainings. So there is a 4-day in-depth training on June 26, 27, 28, 29. So it's 2.5 to 3 hours each day. And we go into the anatomy and physiology of each point. So the way that we learned 10 points today, we go into the depth and learn 39 points and the organ function of each point, and also some special points on the face, behind the legs, for sciatica, for different conditions. So it's a really lovely tool to have, so that you can anytime, anywhere, just apply this holistic healing method. So it's a lovely way to empower yourself to take healing into your own hands. So all the best and happy healing to everybody. I think maybe you're not able to unmute yourselves. Yeah. So I hope that if any questions, I'll take them now. You can unmute yourself and ask, or I'll start reading the questions from the chat. Is it okay to practice on a child right before they sleep? Absolutely, very safe to practice. One thing is, if the child is above 12, then you can do all the points which we have shared today. If the child is a little younger, then just do only 39. Because their hands are so tiny, it's, especially if they're children or babies, just do 39 is enough. 1 and 39. Point number 1, cerebrum, just below the tip, and tips of all the fingers, 39. Safer for children not to use any tool. Just do it with your hand. Yeah, just use your own hand to press, it's safest. For adults, you can use the stick. A stick, or you can use a chopstick, you can use a blunt pencil, or you can use this, it's called a jimmy. If you want to buy it, you can look online. It's called a metal jimmy. So you look for the metal jimmy.